Okay, bullet points, rhetorical synthesis. What's the student's goal? He wants to explain an advantage of the women and the vote format. So let's figure out exactly what that is. Probably going to be down the middle, probably. In 2020, theater students at Radford and Virginia Tech chose an interactive online format to present a play about women suffrage activists. Their Women and the Vote website featured an interactive digital drawing of a Victorian-style house. Audiences were asked to focus on a room of their choice and select from that room an artifact related to the suffrage movement. One click took them to video clips, songs, artwork, and text associated with the artifact. The play was popular with audiences because the format allowed them to control the experience. So what was the advantage? Audience controlled the experience. Women and Vote featured drawing of Victorians in several rooms. Nope, that wasn't the advantage. To access video clips and had to first click. No, that's not the advantage. The Women and Vote format appealed to audiences because it allowed them to control the experience. That's it. Part of the advantage is being able to click on things, but don't confuse that. The advantage was they controlled the experience. C is the correct answer. Okay, we've got rhetorical synthesis denoted by the bullet points and what the student wants. So what's the goal here to accomplish? Describe unwoven light, which seems to be the name of some artwork, to an audience unfamiliar with Sioux-Sunny Park. So if they're unfamiliar with it, we have to tell them something about the park, which is usually up at the first bullet point. Sioux-Sunny Park is a Korean-American artist who uses light as her primary medium of expression. So this is going to be included, something about her. She created her work Unwoven Light in 2013. Unwoven Light featured a chain link fence fitted with iridescent plexiglass tiles. So that's kind of a description of what unwoven light is. When light passed through the fence, the colorful prisms formed. So we want to describe it. So that would be, it's a chain link fence with plexiglass and light passed through it, forming prisms of color. So Park's 2013 installation Unwoven Light, which included a chain link fence and iridescent tiles made from plexiglass, featured light as its primary medium of expression. This is a good description of the artwork. It's not telling you anything about Sioux-Sunny Park. This is for an audience familiar with her. I don't think that's going to be it. Korean-American light artist Sioux-Sunny Park created Unwoven Light. That tells us about her. It doesn't tell us really any description of the work itself. The chain link fence in Sioux-Sunny Park's Unwoven Light was fitted with tiles. No, that's just too specific and narrow. Hopefully this is it. Looks a little longer, so we have hope. In Unwoven Light, a 2013 work by Korean-American artist Sioux-Sunny Park. Okay, so we get a little background on her if you didn't know her. And the audience didn't. They're unfamiliar. Light formed prisms as it passed through a fence. Yeah, this describes the work too. D is the correct answer. Okay, I've got another rhetorical synthesis. We can see from the bullet points. Let's figure out what the student wants. To introduce the novel, The Holder of the World, to an audience already familiar with whoever this is. Obviously, I assume that's the author. So the audience is already familiar with the author, which means we don't want probably background, which is usually in the beginning. The author was an Indian-born author of novels and short stories. The audience, we can assume, knows that. Okay? But we do want to introduce the books, nonetheless. So she published the novel in 1993. A central character in the novel is a woman living 20th century U.S. Another character is a woman living 7th century India. Okay, so we've got two different characters in the U.S. and India. It was released or published in 1993, so we do want to provide information about that. So the author's settings include both 20th century U.S. and 17th century India. That might actually, well, it doesn't really indicate what the novel is, right? So I'm not sure. I'm just going to question mark that for now. In addition to her novel, The Holder of the World, which was published in 1993, Indian-born artist wrote other novels and short stories. No, that's not really introducing the novel, and it's telling us too much about her. We already know her, okay? The author, novel of The Holder of the World, centers around two women, So the author's novel, The Holder of the World, centers around two women, one living 7th century and the other living 7th century India. Okay, that looks like it's it. That's introducing the book, and it's not giving details about her. You're assuming essentially the author already knows who this author is. Doesn't tell us she was an Indian-born author of novels and short stories or any of that. We can assume that. So this looks to be a good answer, C. D, The Holder of the World was not the only novel written. That has nothing to do with introducing this novel, right? So A, B, and D are wrong. A, not really good enough. So why is C better than A? Because C actually introduces and indicates the name and title of the novel, which is what we have to introduce. A is missing that. C is the right answer.